I would like to suggest an alternative idea of a Musar movement. That is a movement that's meant, that's on the lines of Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, of like learning classical Musar, which is the ethical words of Torah. But the modification would be, or the alternative idea would be, like, the Musar movement sort of morphed into this Mishnah Berurah-ism, or Marilism as it was once called, sort of the ghetto type of Judaism that was, trying to get into every aspect of everyone's lives and telling them what to do, how to breathe, how to eat, everything like that, which has really, nothing, almost nothing to do with nothing to do with Musar, and nothing to do with the Talmud, and very little to do with the Talmud at all. So the movement did morph. I would suggest that the original idea of Rabbi Yisrael Salanter was to actually learn what I would call today would be classical Musar. That was like essentially five. I guess in those days it was considered to be like about 5 books or so. Chovot Levavot, Mesilat Yesharim, Orchot Tzaddikim, the Sefer Hayosher, a few of the Rishonim. But then within the Musar movement, it got accepted to learn the sort of Kabbalistic Musar books also, which is sort of okay. Sure, there's the Reishis Chachma and which is a great book. In fact, a little bit heavy, I admit, and Talmud Devorah, things like that. But then the movement got morphed today until it got to be kind of a psychological movement, instead of like fixing people's traits to figure out how to psychoanalyze them and convince them to be more frum. Kind of a strange type of movement. It's very little to do with Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, which I suggest would be the basic idea. You don't see in like too much and even places where in places where they learn Musar, like in the Mir Yeshiva or something, you don't see like the hashkafa of the Rishonim. Books like the Mor Nevuchim or the Emunah V'Deot of Saadia Gaon. I mean, you'd think that one of the Gaonim who wrote a whole book about hashkafa would have something to say about hashkafa, but people like the whole idea. I guess the idea is that people just don't realize that in order to have good traits, you have to have good deis also. That you have to have like the right deis. You can't just be learning Musar and then have no idea of what the Torah says, because you might you might be thinking you're doing like a good deed and trying hard to do a good deed, but if you don't, in other words, you need to have like the right deis. One of the advantages, one of the good things about Musar is people learn what is a good trait. But if you don't learn like the books of Hashkafa of the Rishonim, the Emunah V'Deot and the Mor Nevuchim, so how are you supposed to know what the Torah even says? In terms of the major issues. You might know what a Tosfos says, but what about a major issue about how to deal with like philosophical issues, or what is the meaning? What's the paradigm of Torah? What's the world look of the Torah? So you make up some other type of world look and you ignore the Rambam. That's called learning Musar. It doesn't seem like that to me. It seems to me that Rabbi Yisrael Salanter had a completely different idea in mind of what Musar's become today. And no wonder it completely crashed the whole movement. But I would suggest that, like an alternative, getting back to what Rabbi Yisrael Salanter was actually meaning to do would be like the better alternative. Thank you.